You're about to have liftoff.
Oh my gosh, folks, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this. It all comes down to these 30 minutes. Speed belts fastened. Here we go. Carlsen with the white pieces and a Queen's Gambit declined. Carlsbad structure in game one. Magnus once again sticking to a solid approach, Robert.
Wow, and knight h5. Knights on the rim are dim, but that knight attacked at bishop 1 f4. But look at the knight remaining out there. The queen on d1 spies it. At some point, knight e5 might be a good move. But look at Magnus just playing smart chess with knight f4. He allowed the knight out.
Oh, an early oversight. He has to move the bishop back. That gives Hikaru a tempo. Now, it's not the end of the world because his pawn structure can sustain it. But he'll need to smoke that knight out of f4 ASAP.
Well, he's about to castle queenside, and the knight will have to move to c. Ooh, now the c6 pawn is a target. He goes knight to e2. He's smoking the knight out. c6 is loose, and now it's a backwards pawn. So down, even if knight e2, bishop e2, we just get some trades. White has the structural advantage, but he blunders with knight d2. Queen b2!
Queen b2! Oh, what a move! Oh, what a tactic in game one of the bullet! It's going to win a pawn. The knight's jumping back to c4, and Hikaru's basically winning in the endgame.
And you saw Magnus, he's like, yep, I missed that one. And Hikaru needs to put this one away. It will give him a 3-point lead. But what a mistake by Magnus Carlsen. He has just been off form in so many of these games.
So many one-move blunders, and we're just not used to that. But Hikaru, as you said, he has to put this game to bed, build up that cushion early in the match, because almost all of the bullet comebacks we've seen, they start from the very first games, and this is not moving in Magnus's direction. Robert, the f-file is going to open. The f2 pawn is a sitting duck. Look at that rook aiming hungrily at the pawn.
Wow, h4.
G3.
Bishop f5. G3 is also really nice, but the pawn f2 is going down. If you go rook h2, then g3 comes with tempo. And you just have nothing here. You might even think about resigning.
Hello, knight e3, bishop d3, knight f1. You can take anything in any order. Magnus needs to resign, and he needs to do it now. Every second is golden right now.
Oh my gosh. Bishop g4 check, and bishop e2, there's rook f1 check, things like that. It looks very, very bad for Magnus.
Hikaru sees it. Guess what he's doing? Something he's never done before. He's bringing some time off the clock. Resign right now if you're Magnus. Knight c3.
Oh.
And he does.
That's it. Yeah, he resigns. He still has over 27 minutes remaining. That is plenty of time for this comeback. He goes for the Sicilian. He had a good position earlier in the match in the Sicilian, but he did not play the con.
It's very common for players to trade blows at the start of the bullet as they adjust to the new time control. But one thing's for certain, Magnus is going to lose the match if he continues to make these one-move tactical blunders.
He had a great position there. He just simply overlooked queen takes b2 and great recognition from Hikaru. And look at this, g4. That is something that strong players do. Even if they just want to draw and keep a match lead, they play like it's any other game. You need to play in your style. You cannot play with fear.
Hikaru might even be playing more aggressively than usual. He wants to put this match away in the next 10 minutes. He doesn't want this coming down to the last game. He doesn't want any of that intrigue. He wants to end this here and now, and he's trying to end it on the king side. Magnus is trying to put his king to the death on the queen side. Here we go, folks. This is almost like the Andrake and Wesley So game from the CGC.
And I'm waiting for g6 from white, but queen c3 threatens queen b2 mate. The knight will have to move out the way, so it's a close call. And look at Magnus like bishop f6. You think gf7, the king might take on f7. The king is out in the open, but he's protecting everything for the time being. It's a messy position.
It is, but Hikaru adroitly handling his minor pieces and stopping the queen from infiltrating to c3. It just seems like that g6 pawn is going to wreak havoc once the f7 pawn is eliminated.
And we see a swap on c1 and knight c5 played by Magnus. So is there knight takes e4 shots? You need to be very careful here if you're Hikaru.
But there's e5 beating him to the punch and smashing through the center. The knight on c5 is now hanging, as is the knight on d4. But you can just recapture. And where's the crusher?
It wasn't it. Still good for white, apparently. But if bishop f3, you're forcing you have knight takes f3, because otherwise you might lose a piece.
But then how is black just going to keep all his minor pieces intact? He goes back to d8. Best move by Magnus.
That's a huge
phenomenal defensive move.
Rook c5. You can't take the rook, but you can take the bishop on g5. And I do believe that white's king is less safe. So I see the evaluation bar, but I actually believe that white's position is a little bit more precarious.
You're absolutely right. The pawn on a3 offers long-term chances against white's king. That could be significant in a time scramble. They are nearing a time scramble. And Magnus opens the f-file. He's taking over the initiative here. He's got a serious chance to win this game.
Is there some kind of bishop f3 here?
Bishop f3. Yes, and then rook f3 in the end.
Yeah, and there's like bishop c5 idea. So Magnus down 10 seconds. He completely misses it.
but he keeps himself with 3 passed pawns on the king side. Again, it's all about practical perspective here. I still think Magnus has got great winning chances. Bishop d5. Stick it on the center.
Everything. He takes there. Is f3 hanging? No, queen takes d8 first. He plays bishop d5. He wants those pawns to go.
But here come the knights. Rook b6. h4.
And then h6 and then g5. You got to throw all your pawns at white.
It's anybody's game. I see the eval bar. Forget the eval bar. It's 50-50 position. Hikaru's stopping the pawns. Here comes Magnus's rook.
Yes, but the b pawn might seal the deal for white. At some point, it's going to go up the board.
And the knight's going to jump into f6 at the right moment. Oh, this is not looking good for Magnus.
No, it isn't. A2 is also a bit loose. So if you take your eye off that pawn, you could lose the A2 when he goes rook b2.
Oh my gosh. Where do you go? You have to give up A2. You called it.
Take on
Bishop
A2.
A2.
He goes A2.
Oh, here comes the H pawn.
Take on A2.
Bishop A2 now. Oh, Hikaru's collapsing. He's losing control of the game. Bishop E4 and G3 was winning.
Bishop E4 is next. And B5's hanging as well. The king goes back, safe and sound. A2
Bishop A2, grab that pawn and move the bishop back and do it now.
Look at all these pawns going forward. Take on H2 back, rook F2 to G3. And just take on A2.
Oh, Hikaru going for mate, but there's no mate.
And look at Magnus. He realized it. I think he's looking from side to side. No checkmate. And he's going to bring his rook to F1 with check.
Oh, and the king making a mad dash to the other side of the board. It's a promotion. It's a win. Hikaru, he does what he usually does. Robert, what did we just see? What a win.
This has been a crazy game. And Magnus Carlsen, he is showing his world championship medal, his pedigree, his ability to stay alert, to stay in this match. And he's going to checkmate Hikaru in the next few moves. And look at that.
And what
Queen F5 for the quickest checkmate.
Yep. Clinical until the end, even with 2 queens on the board. He ain't lazy. Every second matters here. And only 7 minutes have gone off the match clock. So it has not been a catastrophe. Magnus gets this lead back to 2 and another pivotal game with the white pieces.